Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody enjoyed the Silver Scrapes as we are coming on into the draft for Game 5 of the LHGPL Grand Finals between Omega Gaming Syndicate and the Akuma Shurikens. The Akuma Shurikens have now pulled it back 2 games in a row. My name is Gordo, and I am joined once again by Rudude. And Rudude, we are ready for some Game 5 action.
We definitely are here, Gordo, and already off the bat we can see some slight adaptations coming through for Omega Gaming Syndicate. The Ziggs being taken away from the bot lane of Akuma. We saw the Ziggs Nautilus lane be brutally effective down up against Twisty and Rutinium. No matter what they picked against it, didn't have the answer that they wanted it to. Alive and Asymmetric have been so potent on that duo. Getting rid of it is something that they are going to be more than happy with. We can see the Lee Sin taken away from Hexmist. Not going to get his hands on that for game number 5. And something that is not yet banned away, but most definitely should be, is going to be that Malphite. If anything, if the results from the previous drafts are anything to go by, this should be a Malphite.
Certainly might be here, as we are going to see. Yes, it will be the Malphite ban coming on through, and now Omega going to be left with their first pick here. They are going to take away the Kindred. They're going to put Fallen Artemis on it for this game 5, and they're going to force the side of Akuma to pick a different jungler for Hexmist.
And Fallen on the Kindred is his patented pick. Hasn't yet had the chance to play it in the finals, but he's a big Kindred player himself. So getting this for game number 5 here of the finals, the do or die game, the best of 1 coming on through. He will be much more comfortable on this, feeling at home on the Kindred, as we see Akuma locking in their answer in the Graves.
Yeah, they are going to be taking it away this game. It's not going to be the first time we've seen Hexmist on Graves this series, but it would be the first time we see him get a win on it if they are able to pull it off. Now, let's see what the second pick over on this red size draft is going to be. Could potentially be an opportunity to go with their different bot lane. Now, the Ziggs has been banned away, and so it is going to be the Camille, which is now open and available for the first time.
Exactly. They take away the Ziggs, they take away the Lee Sin, which has left open this Camille, something that's been banned away time and time again by Omega Gaming Syndicate. Importantly, Evelyn remaining on that bans list, so that champion has not been allowed to be picked up. But looking across the rest of the games as well, Ashe has been taken away from Akuma the majority of this series as well. That champion's still up and available, and unless Syndicate take it here, then it's still open and could be picked up for Akuma on the top side or in their bot lane.
Or it could be potentially looking at to preemptively counter it here. They've already locked in the Taric, and they could go for a very strong duo here by going for something like the Callista. It'd be very dangerous to pick your Ashe into something like that, but it is going to be the Jhin Taric. Nonetheless, still a threatening lane if you want to go for the Ashe here on the side of the Akuma Shurikens.
Exactly, but we have to imagine that the reason it's been banned away is just the level of comfort that it provides to Alive down on the bot lane. We don't know yet, and we can definitely expect to see some interesting picks coming on through. Mismatched picks across the map so far, with jungle and bot lane picked up for Syndicate compared to the jungle and the top lane here for Akuma.
Oh, it is gonna be the Heimerdinger lock-in from Akuma Shurikens in Game 5. Are you kidding me, Rudude?
Hey, this Heimerdinger could go anywhere really for me. This could be bot lane, could be mid lane. Likely not going to be top with the Camille, but if you wanted action, if you wanted spice, if you wanted a game 5 to remember, Heimerdinger is the champion.
Oh, they're busting out the donger here way late into this series in the final game of the season. The final game of Season 10 here, played competitively for the Akuma Shurikens, and for one of them, it's going to be on Heimerdinger.
It is here, and I want to see a Teemo, and this might sound really troll, right? But Intexi has been hovering Teemo every single game that he's played in this tournament. And I remember them saying that if they got to the finals and if they got to 2-0 up, that they would allow him to pick Teemo. That was a lie. They didn't get him Teemo here. And with the Heimerdinger locked in on one side, it seems only fitting that the Teemo gets picked up here. I'm not going to suggest that they do it, but it's just something inside me would be deeply immensified by that pick.
Yeah, certainly could be here. We're going to see some top lane bans coming out from the side of the Akuma Shurikens. Now going to be the Yone ban, and will they follow it up? They don't need to follow it up with the Fiora this time, as the Fiora's been banned away by the side of Akuma. Instead, it's going to be the Silas coming through for Omega Gaming Syndicate.
Yeah, and they've not really taken away the hardcore counters of Camille that we're typically used to. Jax Renekton's still on the table here for Blood King if they choose to opt into that. Also, the Tryndamere that got banned away in game number 3 or 4, I believe, is also available if he wants to go right click versus right click here with the Camille. Looks like they're going to match the bot lane here just for now, and then they'll have the option of flexing the Heimerdinger into the bot lane, into the mid lane, once they know what they're completely up against.
Oh, right, and it is going to be a Thresh pick for the side of Akuma. Still don't know if that's going to be paired with the Heimerdinger down bot lane, or if it's going to be the Heimerdinger potentially coming into the mid lane. Been so long since we've seen this pick in one of these games, and definitely isn't expected by those who make draft laws. The name is being cut off by the picture. It's just so long here, as Tom Kench going to be the lock-in from the side of Omega Gaming as their support likely, but actually they already have a Tarek, so I've got questions.
This could be top lane Tom Kench coming out here as an answer to the Camille. It's not something that I was expecting to see in a game number 5, but hey, if that's what Syndicate are going to roll with, then I guess it works.
And
Gonna
now they're
answer mid lane.
yeah, it might be the Syndra. We saw that in game one. It could be the Lux, as that's now being hovered next, and it is going to be the Syndra. We saw a great performance in game one from Intexi on that Syndra, looking to reprise that coming into game five.
Okay, now they have to put this Heimerdinger into the bot lane right now because Syndra into Heimer is so favored for the Syndra. Just the ability to pick up a Heimerdinger turret, take away so much of his, so much of his DPS is too powerful in a
No.
1v1.
No, don't hover this Anivia. You're not going to lock in this Anivia. All right, there we go. It is going to be a Galio coming on through in the mid lane. That likely means it is going to be Heimerdinger coming into the bot lane. Like you said, far too much threat there if she just manages to pick up even the empowered turret from the Heimerdinger ultimate and just chuck it right on top of your head. Not going to be a risk here if he goes down into the bot lane, where he is going to be showing down with this Jin Tarek duo. Meanwhile, we now know it's going to be the Tom Kench top lane likely coming on into this Camille.
And I'm not going to lie to you, Gordo, this matchup will absolutely baffle me. I don't know which way it's going to go, who is supposed to be favoured in this one, and who is supposed to be coming out ahead in these trades. I feel like Tom Kench's trade pattern is you press Q and then you run away real quick. Camille has a lot more going for her in that solo lane, but we have to remember that if you're picking this, they've picked this willingly. Blood King must have some special ingredient that he's going to add to this top lane Tom Kench to make this trade work for him, to make this top lane not an absolute catastrophe like we've seen in the previous 2 games. Multiple times we've seen him down 2 levels in laning phase, and we've seen 9 Line Klein be able to take over in some situations. Hexmist did it in game 4, 9 Line Klein did it in game number 3. We'll have to see which member of which team comes through because game number 5 is all up in the air right now.
It certainly is. And as far as what sort of cheese we might be able to expect from the Tom Kench coming into that top lane, we can probably. Something that comes immediately to mind is a keystone we've already seen in the top lane this series, as it is going to be potentially the Hail of Blades. We saw it on a Cho'Gath earlier on this series, and now the Tom Kench can do the same. Use it to get all 3 stacks incredibly quickly and follow it up with a Devour.
Exactly, and it definitely acts a lot better on the Tom Kench, I feel like. Yes, triple Vorpal Spikes is quite nice, but it doesn't have the same effect as dealing that percentage max HP from the Devour that is so useful in a trade pattern. Can just completely shut down a Camille for a couple of seconds. Yes, you're unable to trade back at that time as well, but you are able to dish out a serious amount of damage with that Gobble Up.
Certainly are, and that is going to provide an even additional layer of security. It is going to be so hard for the side of Akuma to actually get kills against this Omega Gaming Syndicate squad. They have the Lamb's Respite to keep them alive even longer. They have the Cosmic Radiance coming in from the turret, or the Taric to keep them alive even longer, and they have that Devour from their top lane Tom Kench to protect the squishies even more so. It's going to be so difficult for them to find picks and kills in these fights, assuming that Omega is able to execute their abilities correctly.
It definitely is, and coming on through, we're going into the in-client draft right here. Taking a broader look, broader strokes at these team compositions, it's just an absolute marvel of a game number five, right? You know, yesterday we had a game five Gordo where it was very standard game from number five, very serious, and both teams were definitely in it to win it. This time around, there's no doubt that these teams want to win, no doubt that they're playing the best that they can, but they've thrown a little bit of spice in there. You can tell that with a Heimerdinger and a Tom Kench pick, there's already a bit more of a relaxed vibe to the game than there would have been in a serious, more intense situation. Akuma looking to go back to back in organization victories, and Syndicate here looking to take their third, or the organization's third tournament victory this split alone. Coming on in for game number five. The rosters have been locked in, and it is just an absolute. Just, I can't wait to get the game underway. That's all it is.
Yeah, and whoever ends up winning this series at the end of the day is going to have done so off the back of an incredibly off the wall pick. Whether it's going to end up being the Tom Kench top or the Heimerdinger bot lane remains to be seen. But one of these two champs is about to take an LHGPL title, Rudude.
They are, and it's incredible to think. And maybe Tom Kench is a champion. You think, yeah, maybe you can take that, and I can see the reasoning for it. But taking it into the top lane is just so off the wall that it is just baffling here. And thinking about the fact that all of these players have played 4 games tonight already, they're going into a game number 5. The tenacity in themselves to just pick themselves up and go once again here. This is where Syndicate thrives, remember, right? This do or die situation, the best of one scenario where they have their backs up against our wall, being the underdogs coming into the series here with the sort of clean sweep that Akuma had put through. They've been taken off guard by the fact that they went 2-0 up. But now they're back to 2-2. This is their comfort zone. This is where they come through. And when the pressure really mounts, this is when Syndicate should be turning online.
Yeah, and this is going to be, like you said, Rudude, the consideration that needs to come through is going to be that of stamina. It's not often that you end up playing 5 competitive games back to back to back to back to back. Even solo queue, which is lower stakes, obviously, than a game like this. It's not often that you or anybody in the audience or me myself are going to play, 5 games in a row, and even then, that's going to be tiring by your 5th time out. This is even higher stakes than that. It's while constantly having to communicate and strategize with teammates, and it's going to probably affect how well everybody can perform in this series.
Gordo,
Yes.
look at who's playing Tarek.
Oh, what does this even mean, Rudude? I don't.
I like this more, and it might sound weird, but I genuinely like Tom Kench into Thresh as a matchup. If your ADC gets hooked, you gobble them out, you save them, right? Tarek in the top lane offers for me probably just a little bit more than the Tom Kench, and it makes a bit more sense that you take it into the Camille because you can build things like the Iceborne Gauntlet. We're going way back to the days of Tarek top with the old Tarek before the rework with this one,
Yeah,
but
Rudude, the old Tarek top was a different kit. It wasn't
it
this. It
was.
wasn't this Tarek.
You're quite right, but hey, if we're going for a little bit of a throwback here, we've got Heimerdinger locked in the bot lane. I mean, we may as well throw it as far as we want to. I'm just amazed that Blood King is not only, he locked in the Tom Kench to bait them into thinking it was up against that, and then just swapping for Rutenium to play the Tom Kench, for Blood King to take this Taric into the top lane. Everything that we previously discussed still stands, because now they've got a Taric in the top lane as opposed to the Tom Kench.
I'm not ready for this, but I suppose we're gonna have to see how it can be played out here. I have not seen a solo lane Tarek since the rework, so I'm certainly excited to see what some of this is going to look like. Definitely going to have the opportunity to fish for some stuns once Fallen Artemis is able to come up with the Kindred ganks, can immediately bind with him, and then start throwing out that Dazzle ability, which can then be jumped forward on along with the Dance of Arrows from Kindred. Gonna be some potential ganks coming through in that top lane for this top Tarek.
It's just an absolute crazy game. Game number 5, we couldn't have asked for anything more unless we got both teams spelling out a different 5-letter word with their champion picks. Then there would be nothing else that we could ask for. With the Tarek top lane, Heimerdinger bot lane, traditionally quote quote troll picks coming through, but they're being played in a game 5 competitive setting. Everything up in the air, a best of one to take the trophy home. Let's just get it underway.
And let's do just that. We're going to get loaded into the game here, so we're going to take a quick break, but we will be right back to bring you Game 5 and to bring you which team is going to end up taking the LHGPL Grand Finals. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this Game 5 of the LHGPL Grand Finals between Akuma Shurikens and Omega Gaming Syndicate. We are going to be getting right into the action here as both parties are heading towards the river. My name is Gordo, and I am joined once again by Rudude. And Rudude, we might see some level 1 action again.
We definitely are hoping to right here. Nine Line Klein leading the charge for Akuma here. They're going to walk into the tri-bush and go no further. They don't have the vision down to see whether or not they can go any further. And before this game gets fully underway, guys, everybody in the Twitch chat, we've got a hashtag AKM win. We've got a hashtag OMG win. I want everybody with channel points to be spamming that in the chat right now. Let us know who you're out and supporting. Yes, we're on the Omega Gaming Twitch channel, but Akuma have shown that they deserve the support. And we know that everybody out there wants a best of 5 to go all the way, and it's given us that. We've got one game left. Let's see who can take it, and give your colors out in the chat right now.
Yeah, might have been able to give a little bit of credit to the home stream advantage for Omega Gaming Syndicate had they been able to close it after the first 2 games, but Akuma has struck back here and now has the momentum advantage coming into this Game 5. It's going to be up to them on whether or not they can close it out, coming out here with the Heimerdinger bot lane in Game 5.
They are the super special pick down for Alive. He's played more mages bot lane than he has AD carries at this point. More mage games, more specifically. And we can see Blood King opting for that Corrupting Potion, Grasp of the Undying in the top lane. I don't know what his goal is for this top lane, but if he's able to go even with the Camille, I'll be very impressed, and he'll definitely be offering a bit of a assistance in the teamfight situation.
Rutinium going to find himself death sentenced right away at level 1 and going to immediately blow the cleanse. Now Blood King heading up on towards 9-line Klein, really hoping that the Director moves on up towards there at some point so that we can get a better look at how this lane is going to play out. You can see early on, 9-line Klein not going for too aggressive of trades, probably just as confused as we are with exactly what potential is going to come out of this Taric top lane.
I mean, the passive of Taric is definitely going to be able to help him out a little bit here, right? The double, a little bit of attack speed boost that you get from autoing or from casting a spell, definitely going to help out in the top side trades. And if he's able to cycle heals, then there's a world where he can win. Fallen's here, though.
off of the hook shop. It does appear to be Fallen Artemis coming in for the early gank here, going to land that Mounting Dread, going to force the flash out, and here comes Hexmist trying to make the difference in the counter gank, but it's already too late. The fight's already over, and both parties probably just going to back away here. They're going to make sure that the wave gets pushed into turret, and they're going to go in for the stun onto Hexmist. They're going to land it, chunk him down a little bit, and now going to take their recall as they've successfully crashed the wave.
And a Taric in a topside 2v2 bullies away Graves and Camille. Let that sink in for everybody at home in game number 5. We have to say that. That is the situation that's here.
Blood King, though, finding himself jumped on by Hexmist here, going to be channeling out the stun, going to be landing it, and here comes Sluter trying to get that flank off. He's going to force a flash out of Blood King, and now here comes the hook shot coming in from Klein. They're going to be going in on towards Blood King, and unfortunately, it looks like this top lane turret is going to be taking down for first blood. It was Taric, not turret. I need to stop saying that, rude dude.
Hey, I mean, maybe if this Tyrus gets fed enough, he can become a top lane turret, but at this point, with First Blood going against him, we're definitely not expecting that. Rutenium looking for a play bot lane. Halo Flood lane.
Yeah, they're going to be going on in aggressively here towards Asymmetric, going to get that deadly flourish onto him to snare him down for a little bit longer, but it's just going to be both parties backing away. They're falling back towards Fallen Artemis to make sure he's able to get this Scuttle Crab that is going to be his first mark of the game. Is Alive now moving in aggressively. It's going to be a flash forward from the side of Rutenium. They're going to eat up Alive with the Hail of Blades. It is still the Hail of Blades coming through for the Tom Catch, and now Fallen Artemis has jumped over the wall. He's looking to pick up Asymmetric as well, but he might have bitten off more than he could chew. He's just going to flash away to make sure he doesn't go down to Hexmist. Now here comes the Winds of War coming in from Galio. They're going to stun down so many targets as now Hexmist is looking to get the kill, but they're all kept alive. They managed to eat away the jungler with Rutenium and keep him alive ever so slightly, but Hexmist is going to be able to pick up Fallen Artemis here. Now he's moving on towards Twisty, but Twisty going to continue to move back here as he is reloading. Sluter now moving around, looking to see if he can find a flank, but not going to be able to do so as Intexi is threatening here. It's going to be both parties backing away here as another kill traded back and forth for both teams.
4 minutes into the game, we are eight people down in the bot lane, and now the only reason I feel like Nine Line Klein didn't come down there was because he didn't need to, right? They're winning that fight on the bot side quite handily. They're able to trade the kill back, and importantly, Hexmist.
And another death sentence is landing onto Rutenium here, but he can't escape this time. He's going to get stunned up by the grenade from Heimerdinger and taken down alive, earning himself a kill on the Heimer.
And the pick potential from this bot lane definitely showing off right here. Alive not going to be able to interrupt the recall of Twisty, but you can see this tried and true combo here. The hook into the grenade and then into the flay afterwards. No chance for Rutenium to get himself away. The cleanse still not off cooldown from that early on engage. And you can see Executioner's Calling as the level 1 item, or as the early on item for Nine Line Klein. He does not want Blood King healing up any more than he should be with those heals. You know, the Q going to be potent, but you can see the short trades going in favor of the Camille quite handily, and this is how the lane should be played.
And the long trade is going to be going in the favor of Camille as well here, especially if she's able to reduce that healing and prevent Blood King from being able to get up all the charges he needs to make it as potential as it can be. But now here comes Rutenium, ending up getting hooked again, going to blow out the cleanse as a result, but he's getting shot by so many turrets, he might have to pop the Grey Health here if he's not careful.
Definitely looks to it, and I want to see some Lucidity boots coming through for this Tom Catch. The amount of times he's using his cleanse. Gonna need that Summoner spell cooldown reduction as soon as possible here. And some people might be thinking that Cleanse on the Tom Kench not necessarily the most optimum Summoner spell, but I feel like in this situation, when there is a lot of pick, the reason you've elected to take Tom Kench is to protect your team from CC, right? You don't want them getting hit, and if you're CC'd yourself, you're in no position to devour anyone. So the Cleanse yourself means that you're able to, not necessarily frontline, but if you do get hit by one of these AoE skills, like the Galio, you're able to cleanse away and help out.
Hexmist is going to be coming into mid for a gank, but just going to get pushed away by that force of will from the Syndra. Now, just going to be both parties grouping her up a little bit towards this bot lane here. Asymmetric going to land another hook. These are basically targeted abilities as he continues to throw them out and land each and every single one, whether particularly capitalizable or not.
Exactly. I mean, if you're hitting them, it's a good sign at the end of the day. And we know that Asymmetric has been playing these hook champions for the majority of the series at this point. Nautilus 2 games, Thresh 2 games at least. maybe even game number 1 as well. My memory just failing me, unfortunately, at this stage. We know that he's adept at this hook style champion, finding the picks, finding the plays for his team, and getting those engages going. And throughout the entire series, it has been the story of the early game determining the rest of it. No team really being able to stall and scale out if an advantage goes into the other team's favor. And at the minute, Rutenium could be in a bit of trouble, but
Yeah,
hook
looking
goes
to
wide.
check on this dragon, but not going to be able to stop it as it does go down to the side of the Akuma Shurikens.
And with that, this is the early game lead that the Akuma Shurikens have been wanting, that they've been getting in the most recent of games as well. And getting it in game number 5 here bodes well. If the series trajectory is anything to go off of, they are well on their way to starting to snowball this game. Only 1,500 gold lead so far, and we can't talk about it too much just yet, but if it, like we say, the past games are anything to go off of, this lead is going to slowly get bigger and bigger, transition into more and more dragons, a bigger and bigger gold lead, and ultimately just result in the game.
Definitely going to need to be watching out for that. Definitely also going to be keeping an eye on how many marks Fallen Artemis has been able to keep up with. Hexmist on both Kindred games, these last 2 games, has been able to get to 4 stacks incredibly early on in the game and has been able to use that to push his advantage and to help his team be successful in those games. Fallen Artemis still sitting on only 1 stack at the moment, hasn't been able to pick up any from kills, and has only managed to get 1 from the jungle.
And the difference between these junglers right now, I'm so happy that you've brought up this role, is absolutely massive. Warrior versus just skirmishers is probably the biggest discrepancy that you're going to see throughout the next 10 to 15 minutes. Because Warrior is such a huge power spike, it's something that needs to be respected so much. If this bot side 2v2 goes ahead, there is no chance that Omega win this. They've got combat stats for both teams.
And an attempted engage in the top lane, ending up a little bit botched. It looks like the Cosmic Radiance going to be used for pretty much nothing there on behalf of Blood King. He's going to have to flash away as well. Just not going their way in the top lane does not appear to be favoring them in the way that they might have hoped this matchup would.
No, but like I say, just look at the items there for the team, for both of the teams, right? Yes, we've now completed the Warrior and the Kindred, but Tarek is sat with a cloth armor in terms of combat effectiveness versus the Sheen and the Executioner's Calling. It's just uncomparable in the terms of difference that is going to make.
Certainly is, and Fallen Artemis didn't even have access to that Warrior enchantment when he was in that previous fight. It's going to be Flash's trade in the mid lane, but Intexi is going to find himself taunted up nonetheless and is going to be taken down. A great gank there, and 9line Klein has managed to solo out the Tarek top in the top lane. Looks like it's not going to be the counter that it was hoped to be by the side of Omega Gaming Syndicate, as they're going to pick up Asymmetric in the bot lane, but across the map, it's going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of Akuma.
Yeah, solo kills in both of this, or in the top lane and then the solo lane in mid as well. Able to capitalize on Hexmist using that fully completed warrior to full combo out the Syndra in the mid lane. Overkilling even with the collateral damage. And yes, they pick up a kill onto Asymmetric, but you feel like this Jhin needs to really get going. We need to see an incredible snowball out of this Jhin if he's going to be able to contend with a Galio who's going to be difficult to kill, a Camille who will kill you much faster than you can kill her, and then this Graves as well. Skirmisher's Saber unlocked. Going to be really difficult to take any duels with him if you do get red smited down.
Certainly the case there, as we are going to see 9line Klein has developed a significant advantage for himself in the top lane. He's gotten that solo kill now. He's gotten another assist with the help of Hexmist, and now he's well on his way to a Trinity Force, while Blood King is stuck sitting on only a Catalyst.
Yeah, and the Catalyst isn't going to build into anything that is useful, just sitting on it for the statistics, for the bonuses in the pool of health and mana that it gives him. If he builds that into an Abyssal Mass, then we're going to be in an absolute dire state of affairs, because he's up against Graves Camille on the top side. That Magic is going to do absolutely nothing for him. You can see the components of a Glacial Shroud in his inventory, and we'll have to see whether or not he opts to go for the Iceborne Gauntlet or the Frozen Heart in the top lane, because at this point, it doesn't matter that you're going to have an Iceborne Gauntlet. You're already so far behind that Sheen isn't going to help you start winning the trades.
Certainly not, as we're going to see some trading in the mid lane. The Justice Punch going to come back in for Intexi, but Rutenium is here for backup. It doesn't seem like Sluter particularly cares, though. He's going to get the taunt down, he's going to land the Lens of War, and Rutenium going to devour his teammate out of the way.
Yeah, devours before the Hexmist damage can come all the way through, but you can see here, 2 members now on the bot side jungle of the Omega Gaming Syndicate side, Kindred nowhere to be found, looking to try and make a play in the bot side, but he's going to get absolutely bullied out of his own jungle. No armor on his side, so that serrated dirt in the Graves' inventory going to deal so much damage here. With collateral damage back available, has the potential to one-shot this Kindred. Yes, we can see the Rift Herald used bot lane, but I don't even know if it's going to get the charge off.
Yeah, going to be coming on towards the opposing side here, but not likely going to be able to break through all those waves. It looks like it's going to be the members of the Akuma Shurikens coming down, and it's going to be a great trade in the top lane for the side of 9line Client. And it looks like with these members from Akuma going towards the bot lane, you said it yourself, Rudude, there's going to be no charge coming through from this Rift Herald. Another advantage gained by Omega Syndicate going to be nullified.
And now they're just looking to turn that into a play on the ball.
Going to be another huge hook landed from the side of Asymmetric. A good eat out of Rutinium. Going to keep Fallen Artemis alive for just a little bit longer, but it's not enough. He's going to go down at the end of the day anyway, even with the Lamb's Respite available.
Yeah, and the eat actually not necessarily killing, but wasn't recast in quick enough time to let the Lamb's Respite come out. Still inside the Tom
going to find himself stuck up here. It's going to be the Heimerdinger ultimate on the Rockets coming across to dissuade any further engage, and it looks like that is going to be it for the fighting in the bot lane. Heimerdinger just going to sit down here and treat us to some ridiculous sound effects as he tries to push on this turret on his own.
He's going to do a good job here. Rutenium very low as he gets chunked out by those turret rocket combos right there. You can see the Glacial Shroud has been picked up for the Taric here, and this is the first sort of smatterings of armor completion that we can see, but when the Camille is so far ahead of you, already working towards that Trinity Force, as 2 of the 3 components and an Executioner's Calling to prevent your healing, it's just too little too late in the top lane. I feel like already it's just a matter of time before this Camille becomes an absolute devastating side laner. Yes, Intexie's picked up the GLP for that first item on the Syndra, and yes, it's a fairly decent spike, but if we can see that transitioned across the map, there's a chance that the Syndra can help out the Jhin, and they maybe perform and get an advantage back, maybe close that gap a little bit. But it's just so much to ask for, because this top lane and because this bot lane are actually very far behind, that the mid lane itself, with the lead that Syndra has, isn't going to be enough to carry on through.
Might not be, as it's just going to be a bit of a CS disadvantage for the side of Sluter to offset the fact that he's already gotten to participate in 2 kills and might get to participate in even more, as we can see his team is trying to snowball this game, and they are doing so pretty successfully. They are punishing this Taric top especially hard, as he is now down, having his CS almost doubled by the side of 9line Klein.
Exactly, and the power of this Camille is just going to rise and rise. Taric in a side lane doesn't get
alive,
better
though, going to be getting stunned out here by the Syndra, might not be able to be followed in on. He is going to be forced to flash at the end of the day, does not want to be treated to that unleashed power from Syndra. Potentially a little bit of a risky face check there, but he does manage to escape, as 9line Klein just going to continue to bully onto Blood King. Yeah, and one more Q, he's just going to be able to do the exact same thing again. Once Hookshot is up, he'll be able to jump on in, use the X-Tech ultimatum. He's also just going to be able to melt down this turret here first, and he's got the support of his support as well. Blood King going to channel that ultimate, but he's going to be melted down far too quickly. Another kill for 9line Klein. It could have been solo, but Rutenium, or rather Asymmetric, going to come up and make sure he can get some assist gold.
Yeah, get himself a little bit of that assistance in the statistics box. Obviously highlighting the power of the Thresh there, able to lock the Taric firmly within the Hextech ultimatum.
Ooh, and that's going to be another engage onto Alive. Here comes the Unleashed Power, but he does get saved in time by the hero's entrance. It's going to be an E coming through from Rutinium, followed up by the Lamb's Respite. This is what this team comp is supposed to do, and it's excellently executed, but they might be too far behind in gold to make it matter. Hexmist actually going to get CC'd up here, and here they come through. It's actually going to be a kill picked up by the top lane Taric over on the side of Blood King. Meanwhile, they're diving Twisty in the top lane, but they're going to manage to trade back on a 9-line Client. It's 2-for-1 over across the map, and now they're engaging onto Sluter. It looks like Fallen Artemis is going to look to find his opportunity to engage here, and he's going to do so. Blood King staying alive even further, and a flash forward from Fallen Artemis going to pick up another kill onto Alive. Omega Gaming Syndicate are still in this game.
Is this the comeback, Gordo? The comeback within the comeback within the
it's
comeback?
Texie going to possibly be fighting another pick here onto Asymmetric. Rutinium channels the ult there for a second, but ends up canceling it, and it's going to be a flash blown from the side of Asymmetric.
4 kills for 1 in favor of Omega Gaming Syndicate. Shutdowns across the board going into the pockets of key members. Yes, Blood King takes the one of the 500 golds, but Twisty in the top lane gets dove by Camille, but ultimately gets a kill out of it himself. So this Jhin has the opportunity now, maybe, just maybe, to start coming back. They're still incredibly far behind. 4,000 gold at 17 minutes is a lot to try and come back from. They've got a minute 20 on the Dragon here, but with kills now on the Kindred, kills now on the Jhin, there's just a chance that Syndicate can come back. They can maybe make something out of this game 5, which looked so doomed in the early game.
Yeah, it's still only going to be 3 stacks over on the side of Fallen Artemis, though, so he does want to find a way to pick up just one more prior to this next fight coming up, but that's going to be difficult. He's marked the opposing team's gromp, and it's going to be Ruthenium face-checking into 2 targets here. Make that 3 as the Dark Passage pulls in another one. He's got nowhere to go on this Tahm Kench, and he's going to go down to Hexmist.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you've got the cleanse right there. There's so much CC to get layered on top of you, and so much damage as well. And there's just no way of getting away from this trio of the Akuma roster right here. You can see Intexi doing his best to try and stop this siege in the mid lane, halted pretty much by the single man of the Syndra.
Oh, Asymmetric lands a sick death sentence over the wall onto Intexi, and it's going to be bursting him out. He's going to manage to return with the unleashed power onto Alive, but oh my goodness, what a hook from Asymmetric.
And that which through the minions. 9-Line Clan can look for a dive here on the top side as well. He's just going to take this turret too.
He doesn't even need to dive if he just cuts through the turret with his sword legs, as he's just going to move in here onto Blood Climb, and he's going to get down with the Hextech Ultimatum. He's going to get eaten out in time by Ruthenium, but he can just follow it up with a flash and take him down.
Yeah, he can take down Tahm Kench too if he chooses to. Gonna respect the fact that he doesn't quite see Twisty and Fallen Artemis on the map and back away, but with that kill in his pocket, they're gonna make sure that the rest of Akuma are able to take this dragon, put themselves to soul point here. Another Cloud Soul for Akuma, but that has not deterred them in the previous games. They're more than happy to take these neutral objectives, and once again, we're gonna reach that 24-23 minute mark, and the Cloud Soul is gonna be up and available for Akuma. If the other games are anything to go by, we've got about 5 minutes until the game either ends or their soul gets taken.
Definitely going to be that, Rudude. And you know, the story of Season 10 has been about how important these elemental dragon souls are, but I don't know what everybody's talking about, because every series that we cast has an air drake in it, and we're not going to actually be determining, giving those combat stats towards whoever is able to pick it up. But if they are able to get it in just 4 drakes, while they have such a massive gold lead, the early Elder Drake spawn is going to also be a huge advantage for the Akuma Shurikens.
It is, and the advantages just appear to keep on growing. After that little mishap in the mid lane, you know, the potential comeback for Syndicate, it's been all Akuma ever since then. A couple of kills picked up in the top lane, in the mid lane, a little bit of an overextension by Ruthenium into his own jungle, fetching out some wards, and the top lane still is just this time bomb that has already exploded. 9-Line Klein is 3 levels ahead of the Taric in the side lane right here, and there's absolutely zero chance that this Taric can do anything to the Camille.
Now Intexi going to be engaging here onto 9-Line Klein. Here comes the Tahm Kench ultimate coming in, bringing with it Fallen Artemis. Is he going to get another engage here onto 9-Line Klein? Going to be melting through here. Here comes the Death Threat, or the Dark Passage to try to keep him alive, and it does manage to do so as he's able to get over the wall with the hook shot. But that means that Asymmetric is now caught out of position. He's going to be melted down by Intexi, picked up by a Dark Spear, and shut down. But meanwhile, the rest of the team has started up the Baron for Akuma Shurikens, but they know something's up. The Jhin is aware, and Twisty is already on the move up there. He's got the rest of his team coming through in the mid lane. They've given up on the Baron, as they can see that Omega Gaming Syndicate are just starting to push up in the mid lane.
Yeah, and they can maybe get this tier 1 turret here. A little bit of an overextension by 9-Line Klein. Has to sacrifice Asymmetric for that. But now we need to see Syndicate. If they overextend here, this could be fatal.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge multi-man taunt coming through from the side of Sluter, and they're going to melt through Intexi immediately before the Cosmic Radiance can even come through. And now it's come and gone, and they're going to be engaging even farther. It's going to be a great eat from Ruthenium to keep his top laner alive. As they're going in, they're going to be fighting on top of the Lamb's Respite here for Sluter, but it's already gone as well, as multiple targets are going to be melted down by Hexmist. Now they're moving in onto Twisty. He's the last man standing as 9-Line Klein is chasing in onto him. He's going to have the hook shot soon, but he doesn't even need it, as he picks up the ace for the side of the Akuma Shurikens.
And in the 4v5 fight, the Akuma Shurikens are able to come up huge, take down every single member of Omega Gaming Syndicate. We're 22 minutes into their game. They're going to start up this Baron with zero hesitation. Intexi is alive, teleporting just a few seconds available if they're going to try and maybe make a play around that. But it's going to be so difficult.
Certainly is going to be, as they're going to pick up this Baron for Hexmist. They're going to pick up this Baron for the entirety of Akuma Shurikens, and they're going to take a substantial lead as they're moving on to try to pick up this Dragon Soul in 2 minutes and pick up this Nexus possibly in the same amount of time.
And I can sense the deja vu right here. They're going to maybe try and take a fight and then they're not going to get the soul, and then they're going to win the game. It seems very familiar, Gordo. It seems like we're just getting repeats of games 4 on the down low.
Oh,
Nine
Line
Klein.
Klein finally is engaged down here onto Intexi, going to be getting the follow up from the Precision Protocol, and now going to be hooked by Asymmetric, once again landing it at max range off of the flash hook just to steal the kill. Asymmetric styling on people this game.
He is, and at this point, the flash for the Thresh doesn't really matter. He's able to find engages through every other avenue right here. We can use Heimerdinger rockets, we can use the grenades as well, we can use the Camille just hookshotting in, because there's not enough damage across the roster of Syndicate. Twisty's still doing the absolute best that he can, but going 3, 2, and 1 just isn't enough in this game. We don't have a 4-item Jhin dancing, kiting around this incredibly fed Camille. We're still a couple of items away from that, and even though the rapid fire cannon is on its way through, we've got 45 seconds before this dragon spawns, and even if it comes through for that fight, it's not going to be enough to try and take down this absolutely monstrous Camille. Level 15, 2 items completed, the Ravenous Hydra in the inventory. No anti-healing either for the Syndicate roster. They're going to be in such a difficult spot trying to cut through this Camille if she's even able to just auto-attack, sustain through all of the damage.
Oh, Blood King finding himself caught out here, going to be the Proto Belt into the taunt, and it's going to be melted through on behalf of Sluter. That's another kill picked up here, and it's going to be a 4v5 as they're trying to defend this base against the Baron buff. A good stun landed onto Heximus, followed up with the Unleashed Power. Now it's going to be the Curtain Call coming through, trying to pick up some targets, but he can't even land the shots. Even if he could, everybody's still left at full HP. They were only able to chuck Heximus down to half, but now they're going to be eating up onto this opposing mid laner. It's going to be a cleanse coming through from Ruthenium as they're just trying to find whatever kills they can. They block the Justice Punch as a trade occurs between mid laner and support, and now it's going to be Fallen Artemis. It's up to him to try to carry this fight. He's chunking down the opposing support oh so low, but Hexmist is trying to carry the fight, and I just ever so slightly pulled out of the Lamb's Respite, going to be picked up as well. Hexmist just going to throw out the ultimate as an aftershock, picks up the opposing jungler with the collateral damage as they're going to move on into this bot lane inhibitor.
And that is going to be secured. The 2 big members for Akuma still alive. 99 Klein and Hexmist, the power duo on the top side. They could look to threaten. Alive is in the mid lane as well. Not even using the teleport to get into the mid lane, just walking up from that bot lane, pushing down another inhibitor here. Everything going in favor of Akuma. Yes, a couple kills go into Twisty's pocket, but you can see 13,000 gold is the difference. Akuma could lose 2 members in a fight and then still look to take a 3v5, and the gold might still be even.
It certainly could be, and now they're going to go and pick up this soul.
Cloud Dragon, Cloud Soul. It's just all doom and gloom here for Omega Gaming Syndicate. You feel like this is just the...
Blood King sunk all the way into the floor. He's so tilted. He's having a terrible time on this Taric. He just doesn't want to be seen anymore.
We're here at game number 5, right? And it's so difficult to try and commentate on this objectively here because it just seems so finished, so over already. We can see the gold lead at this point, and it's been a valiant effort from both teams here. The way Syndicate get back into this game is if Akuma throw. And Akuma, by throwing here, they're going to have to run under the fountain twice in a row.
Oh, here comes the engage out onto Alive. It's going to be Ruthenium coming in with the ultimate along with the Curtain Call. There's a teleport coming through, but it might be a little bit too late as he's going to get stunned up on and turned off before it's even possible for a follow-up to occur. Now it's going to be Sluter getting engaged on, but there is an engage coming in on the base. An excellent scatter of the week going to prevent 9line Klein from being able to move onto these. And now Ruthenium is going to be CCing up Sluter to try to prevent him from coming in and helping his allies. The rest of his team has had to retreat back to the Nexus, though, to make sure it can't be taken. Now Ruthenium going to be the one who's caught out by Sluter as he's going to be taunted up here. He's going to get hit with the Lens of War, and now he's trying to cut away. Now here's Twisty for the backup. Ruthenium likely going to get picked up by Hexmist, and he does. Meanwhile, 9line Klein has come through and has picked up Fallen Artemis once again with the Lamb's Respite up. A botch attempt from Kindred going to result in her being taken down, and now it's a 3v5 in the base as Sluter going to be moving through, going to be taunting up onto every member, ends up shut down by the Taric, but it might not even matter as Twisty's forced back to the base. He gets picked up by the collateral damage from Hexmist, and now it's only Blood King, it's only Taric looking to defend against 3 members. He's not going to be able to do it as 9line Klein is going to finish up the Nexus, and they'll give you 2 games in a regular season series. They'll give you 2 games in the finals, but it's going to be Akuma Shurikens as the best team in the LHGPL winning this final.
And at the end of the day, it's the Heimerdinger bot lane in the Game 5 final that wins LHG. You are quite right, Gordo. One of the champions had to win it. and it is going to be the Heimerdinger coming out of the bot lane. But that was not the story of this game here. The story being that top side 2v2. The entire top side of the map just going to shambles for Omega Gaming Syndicate. Blood King and Hexsmith both 4 levels above on their respective opponents right here. The Camille, the Graves, just genuinely dominant throughout the last 3 games of this series. They are the deserved victors of the game and of the series as well. Beautiful play from the guys in the top side, and congratulations to Akuma right there.
Yeah, congratulations indeed. An absolute shout out to Hexsmith there with massive carry performances in back to back to back games to turn this series around for the Akuma Shurikens.
And I think that answers our question, right? Who do we want to pull in for the interview? Who is the MVP for the game, the series? I think we've only got one answer staring at us from those games.
Oh, it's gotta be Hexmist. There's no question about it. As he's been able to perform in these back 3 games to such a high level in order to ensure that his team was able to take the victory here. We're going to be waiting to pull him into this Discord ever so slightly, but in the meantime, let's take a look at some of these damage numbers.
Exactly. Looking across at it, you can see that Heimerdinger as a mage bot lane was able to destroy everybody on the map as well. Didn't have the score to back that up, but definitely had the damage numbers behind him, pumping out DPS after DPS right there. The rockets, the barrage that they were putting down, and then even when they tried to focus this Heimerdinger, ganking a Heimerdinger in the bot lane, in the mid lane, something like that, you're always asking to get 2v1, 3v2'd, 10 back around in a numbers advantage. You saw it come through once with a bot lane gank, and in the damage stats as well, it is reflected. But the story of the game, as we mentioned, was in the top lane. 9line Clan was able to take this top lane 1v1 and just turn it on its head. The Taric not having the impact that we wanted to, and the Camille able to run away with the game with the help of Hexsmith making everything happen across the map.
Yeah, certainly was. Additionally, 9-line Klein able to continuously dominate lanes throughout this entire series, and particularly in that last game, given what I'm going to call an advantageous matchup in that Tarek top lane. And in every game other than the one where we were able to see Blood King on Mundo and where he was able to become unkillable, it has been 9-line Klein just taking advantages in these top lanes to such a significant degree.
It really is, and we're still getting the final touches on that. Our beautiful producer going to let us know just before we get the interview here. But what an absolute, just a beautiful series here, Gordo. It started off so strong, so there's too much to talk about in this series. The reverse sweep coming through for Akuma Shurikens right there. They're just doing so much work. Not only the mental fortitude to come back from 0-2 down and then come out and play Heimerdinger bot lane, play the Camille that we saw get banned away every single game. Let that go away, and they pick it up into game number 5 and they win with it. It's just so crisp, so clean, and a beautiful 5-game series all around.
Yeah, and just a heartbreaking loss over for the side of Omega Gaming Syndicate here, coming so close to being able to close out this series in a clean sweep. But you need to be able to win 3 games to win a best of 5, Rudude, and they just were not able to find the third one.
They weren't, and the pressure may be getting to the Syndicate boys a little bit here, and I think we finally got these players in, everybody. I want to first of all congratulate Hexmist, and we've also been joined by 9-line Klein as well, the topside duo that we've been talking about the entire series. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to welcome you guys both onto the stream here as we're going to go into a little bit of an interview here. Our first question has got to be, this was a fantastic reverse sweep series. So, gotta ask, what changed after game 2? What went wrong in the first 2 games, and what adaptations were you guys able to make to turn it around halfway through?
I mean, I'm gonna take this one for now, Hex, because we actually were talking about this in the last game. Game 3, it was all or nothing. So it's like, if we win, whatever. If we lose, that's it. So we just gave it our all, and then continued that for the reverse sweep.
The do or die mentality really coming in clutch, I suppose, right there. And I want to first of all sort of congratulate Hexmist for, we've given you the MVP of the series, but we know that it was an incredibly close fought battle between you and 9-line up on the top lane, because either one of you could have easily taken away with it. Game number 3, that performance was just impeccable from the top lane, and you had a Kindred game yourself, Hex, that just went absolutely off in game number 4. Is there anything sort of in particular that you want to, shout out your team in particular? Because you got the MVP, but anybody else on your team that you want to give like special commendation to that we might not have caught necessarily watching the games?
Hey, Klein didn't do Dan or Alive justice for this. He pulled out the mages. That was probably the biggest adjustment we made. He pulled out mages game 2, game 3. Game 3, game 4, 3, 4, 5. And he even drew a ban for us, leaving us the Graves or the Kindred, either one of them for us. So shout out to Alive for the amazing mage performances.
Yeah, definitely some great flexibility coming out of Alive there. That's what I kind of want to focus our next question on towards this Heimerdinger pick. What situations led to you guys valuing this Heimerdinger in Game 5, and why did you feel like this was the time and the opportunity to bring it out?
We have been, he just said, give me Heimer, like at the beginning of the series, and the beginning of the last series we played in our other league too. And then we just said no. And then Ziggs was banned, so we said yes, and he picked it. And guess what? We won. So I think it worked.
Simple as that, I suppose. I mean, it's if it works for you, it works for you. You're able to net yourselves the championship. So we can't argue with the results at the end of the day, I suppose.
Yeah.
Certainly not. And then finally, I've got to assume this is going to be your last game on the Season 10 patch before we get hit with preseason tomorrow. Any thoughts you want to send off, parting thoughts with Season 10 as you send off this league and this season in general?
Jungle items, I'll miss you, but we'll get the smite upgrade without the jungle item.
I think it's going to be weird playing in. We have another league that we're in. It's weird going in playoffs from season 10 to preseason 11. It's just going to be completely different.
Shout outs to Sluter.
And also our support, Duke.
Shout outs to everybody on the Akuma roster, right? You guys deserved it. You guys